Jesse?
Jeff?
I think I'm going to make a motion that we have to shoot as many of these videos like this as possible.
Tough day at the office, huh?
You know, the hardest part we're going to have is wake and the camera falling over. That's our biggest problem. We're onto something here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We may have to figure out where the best place on the lake to have a margarita. But
don't twist my arm on that one, man.
We'll need Annie for that. She's the margarita connoisseur.
So we are back for the July market update. We are recording this obviously in the beginning of August. The summer is winding down.
At Lake of the Ozarks.
I would argue the best month of the year at the Lake of the Ozarks is in fact August. As I was saying, so shooting these videos out on the water present unique challenges.
Yeah.
So we decided to pull off into a cove, which was the original idea in the first place. So we are in Mission Cove. Many of the followers on Lake of the Ozarks Lifestyle know this is where we typically hang out because it's right next door to Clearwater condos. And as you can now tell, it's quiet.
It's a cool little hangout cove.
It's a nice spot. There's what, hundreds of hangout coves on the Lake of the Ozarks. This is just one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of the lake.
I mean, and ironically, you know, after last month's video where we were at your house, and that's an awesome cove. It's an incredible cove back in the state park. So here we are, and we're still on the boat. That's all that matters. Let's talk about August real quick before we get into July's numbers and why I make the statement that August is the best month at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, to get back to that, because I may dispute you on that. Okay,
good. So my reason is very simple. The shootout.
Okay, yeah.
Not only it's the shootout, it's a week-long festivities. You know, it starts actually the weekend before with the mini shootout. Then you've got all kinds of things going on all week long. You've got the party on the strip, which I would argue is my favorite part of the shootout, actually.
Okay.
Then you've got several different events going on. Friday's fun. There's a poker run. It's probably one of the best poker runs of the summer.
Yeah, we co-sponsor it. I didn't plan on talking about it, but I actually wore our shirt.
How about that?
We're co-sponsor for the shootout poker run that happens every Friday before the shootout.
Yep. Starts at Cave this year. Mm-hmm. They'll have a bunch of vendors up at Captain Ron's. It's fun to walk around over there. Yep. Oftentimes, American Ethanol and some of the big go-fast boats are parked over there. Yep. So you get to walk around, touch them, feel them. And then, of course, the shootout on Saturday and Sunday, which is just a wild time.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you guys always go down there and hang out?
Yeah. Yeah. We always go Saturday. Sunday's even better, I would argue, because it's almost identical racing, but much quieter, much less chaos. So if you don't like chaos, and what I mean by chaos is the only chaos is when you pull up to park. Mm-hmm. And it's just everybody's trying to tie up and you're trying to get into a line. And if you don't have experience with that, you might want to reconsider.
Might get stressed a little bit.
You get stressed. It's stressful no matter how seasoned of a boater you are.
Yeah.
But so that's my primary reason. I guess the downside to August, as we talked about in the last video, was it's the last month of summer.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what's you said you might dispute it. So what would be the dispute?
Oh, you know, and I go with it's all your perspective.
Yep.
So it's interesting hearing yours because, you know, we've lived here since '82. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot different lifestyle, which someday you're going to get to being full time. So from a weekender's point of view, I could understand that. From a full time, once you get into mid-August, things start thinning out a little bit, especially during the weekdays because the kids are going back to school. You got Friday night football. Everybody's busy with that. August and September is still very hot.
Yeah.
Typically, this year we've had a pretty mild season for the year. Yeah, it's been about as good as it gets for mid-Missouri.
Not being too hot,
Right.
Makes me think that August and September could be really hot.
I mean, that has happened.
Yeah.
So probably my favorite boating season is the latter part of September and into October. And we get days in the 90s in October. And it is beautiful out. You can have the lake all to yourself. Weekends aren't crazy anymore, and weekdays is just really, really beautiful. Now some of the lakefront establishments start closing down through that. So if that's one of your highlights during a weekday, that goes away for you.
2 questions on that point. I feel like as time continues to go on, more and more bars are staying open longer, and there's a fairly decent amount now that actually are open all year long.
Yeah, more and more.
Just limited hours, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is twofold. One is weather dependent, and then the other one is, you know, everybody realizes how much they enjoy the lake, and so you get a lot more people retiring down here and a lot more people wanting to spend more time here, which is always a fantastic thing, and good for our neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great for the community. It's been building. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, it got pretty quiet and boring around here in the off season, and now that's really changed. I mean, there's options for families.
It still is. If you've never experienced it, I talk about this because we've gotten to the point where we really enjoy the off season. We love the quiet, but it's relative to 10 years ago. The quiet is kicked up a bit. It's still, if you were just a summertime, you know, vacationer or second homer or weekend warrior, the weekend or the off season versus the summer is night and day. But again, things have evolved. There's still a lot to do.
Yeah, and especially when the new entertainment development gets in, that'll be a game changer for the area, big time. Yeah,
100%. Now, the other question I was going to ask you was, as you mentioned October, because, and we're definitely going to talk about this, and we might get out on the water for this when we do that, is when the leaves change. So, are you talking pre-leaves changing or post-leaves changing as encompassing that favorite time of year?
All of that.
Okay, yeah.
All of that, and we're still jumping in the water in October for sure.
Yeah.
We've got documentation videos of the last jump in of the season as well with the kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you've never experienced, you know, first of all, if you don't know Missouri is beautiful. It's way underrated.
Yeah.
Especially this central southwest corridor, the Ozark Mountains, which are mountains, but it's rolling hills of just color. When the leaves change, it's absolutely gorgeous. And when you do a lake cruise in October when the leaves have changed, it's one of the coolest cruises you can do.
If you hit that right to where you're lucky enough to be here that weekend, because I think the peak is, you know, one weekend, maybe 2 weekends.
Yeah.
You hit the peak of it, but it's phenomenal.
And there's no predicting it because it's all about weather.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the opportunity to get on a boat, but you want to come down and experience it, my recommendation is get over to Hahatonka because you can get that view.
That overlook.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Okay, well, you know, now we've got a debate. I'd like to know what you think. If you disagree with us, I want to hear why. If you've never experienced the shootout, any piece of it, I highly encourage it. And I will say this, even if you don't have a boat and you can get down here during the week and you experience the street party, like those boats up on trailers, and it is several miles long.
It is something like,
it is so cool.
I haven't seen anything like that in any other lakes that we've been to. You know, that's just really a one-of-a-kind event.
Yep.
For people to be able to walk that close to those boats, get pictures taken with them, and those things are cocked up on the trailers halfway like this. They'd be lit up at night, and the sound systems and those things are crazy.
It's so cool because they're all showing off.
And how many of them there are.
Yeah. Okay, another shift here, Jesse. You might have noticed we're not sitting in the same spots because the camera overheated.
Equipment.
Gosh, all the things you don't learn about when you do these kind of things. But perfect segue, because now it's time to talk data. July, how are we doing? And the first question I have for you that I think a viewer would have is it ideal to sell at the end of summer, going into fall, or before summer in the spring?
Sure. So our 2 biggest seasons, transaction-wise, would be spring selling season and then the end of the season in the fall. So a lot of people, they'll want to get, hey, we just want to get one more season out of the lake house. And so they'll keep the lake house throughout the summertime, have everybody in for the last hurrah, and then we'll get an inventory push, which we'll see in the upcoming months in the fall time. And so there's a lot more options out there for buyers. Buyers like to pick that up because then they have the off season to go ahead and prep that home and be all ready for the new summer and have everybody down. We tail off quite a bit, I would say, from Thanksgiving through the new year, everybody getting ready for Christmas, the holiday parties, all of that stuff. really start to pick up again right around St. Patrick's Day. And that's very weather dependent. If we have bad weather in, say, Omaha, Kansas City, Illinois, that'll be less traffic flow down to the lake. If we're having those really warm seasons, we'll see, I mean, you'll see it around town driving. There'll be more traffic in town, just a lot more people down. And it's really hard for a seller to time those great weekends, but that's about when things start to pick up. So if you're a buyer, your best time to get a deal typically is going to be in that off season from Thanksgiving through February time.
The deal. Okay. Yep. So that's the buyer. Now, if I'm a seller, is there an optimal time to list?
I mean, historically, you're going to have more market activity in that spring and fall.
Okay.
Now, saying that, depending on what market segment that your property falls into, you really want to be mindful of what's on the market at that time. So if you have more properties than usual, say there's 6 or 8 that you're competing with, you may let that play out for a little bit if you're not in a big time crunch and wait until you only have 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So if you're moving three homes a month in that market segment, well, you want to be in that top third. So it's a lot easier to do that when you have 3 homes on market compared to 8 homes on market, or 9 where you have 3 months of supply. So that's just really something that you want to consult with a professional realtor on, to dig into those numbers, figure out what's my current market supply and what is that trend seasonally, so we can kind of pregame this and have the best strategy going forward.
And by professional realtor, he means
Lakefront
Living.
I know of a couple of them.
Okay, so obviously, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into when you decide to list your home. So let's talk about what's been going on during the middle of the summer.
The middle of the summer, typically we see things slow down quite a bit after 4th of July. The people that are here, hey, we just want to enjoy the lake. We've got all the family down. We're not really going to be going out looking at homes.
Yeah.
Sellers, hey, this is our last season, hurrah. We really don't want to list just yet. We're going to wait a little bit and let everybody get out of here, and then we'll be ready to hit market. I feel like we saw about a week dip, which wasn't much. Yeah. And then we've been really back at it hard and heavy with sellers, fielding seller calls and trying to gather that strategy for what fits their lifestyle along with our market, their expectations, and what the market is telling them, so that they can get their expectations aligned with what the current market is. But it's been a very busy summer. I mean, with both buyers. I think I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I personally haven't seen as many cash deals this year than what I have in years previous, but I did write up an all cash offer last night that we'll get under contract on it. And I know that there's a lot more rumblings in the marketplace about interest rates coming down and what the Fed's going to do and come down a quarter point or half a point. We've had some choppy data come out that pushes more towards that interest rate reduction. And when that happens, I mean, we've been saying it for a couple of years now, so I hate to sound like a broken record. We don't have a crystal ball on those rates, but there really are a lot of buyers on the sideline that once we get some rate relief, I think we'll be in the market again. And just that hope and expectations of continuing of that rate drop, to where buyers can go into the market knowing, hey, let's go ahead and buy and get a better deal now, and we're going to refinance in a year or two anyways. And when those rates go down, it's gonna push our prices up. We still have a lot of demand, but there are 2 very different market segments here at Lake of the Ozarks.
Tell us.
Single-family lakefront homes and single-family condos.
Yep.
Lakefront condos.
Lakefront condos. Yep.
And those are in 2 different market positions right now. So which one would you like to start with?
Let's start with condos, because it's a lower price point.
Okay. So this July we had 90 new condos come to market, up 17% over last year, which had 77 new lakefront condos hit the market. Year to date, we've had a 36% rise in inventory, with 172 more lakefront condos come to market.
Wow.
So the inventory has really been on an upward trajectory on that.
Is that just because the prices have really held, and I think people were just, you know,
I think that there's a lot going on with condo ownership. We've seen a lot in terms of insurance prices going up, the assessments coming up, and your expectations are different when you buy in at a lower level than if you're buying in now and you're okay with that assessment price. And those are discussions that we have with buyers. Well, we always thought about having a place at the lake, but we don't know how much we'll get down here. We really would like to have a house. Okay, well, you're going to have two different weekends if you're coming down to a house or if you're coming down to a condo. And if you're not sure how many nights you're going to be able to come down to a house, there's going to be a lot more maintenance involved with that home. All through the season, not just in the summertime when you're here to enjoy. You're going to have fall and winter maintenance. You're going to have to worry about dock de-icers. And so that's where people can come to terms with those assessments. But if you got in on an assessment at a really low level and they come up, you're not as happy with that condo.
So you bring up a good point, though. It's all of the maintenance that goes along. So if you're a weekend warrior, there's something to be said for being a condo owner. Not to mention the amenities like pools and maybe tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball court, maybe a gym in some cases. So you know, there's reasons why a condo can actually be a better investment.
And having absolutely zero dock maintenance to do for yourself. You're not worried about if the lake's going to freeze over this weekend and we didn't get our dock de-icers out. There's a lot more people around in case you have a lift issue. So there's it's just two very different sets of where you are at that chapter in your life right now. I was talking to a couple on Friday. I was putting a for sale sign out, and they happened to be walking by, and they said, we've always wanted a place down here. It must be a sign that you were here, and just put this sign out. And got to talking to them, and they were in that initial phase of, well, we'd like to have a house, but we're not sure how much. And so, well, there's a cycle. You know, your entry point at Lake of the Ozarks typically is a condo, and then you realize, okay, wait a minute, we have more and more people come down, the family's growing, we're going to need a house. So then you go and get the house, the kids get married, you get grandkids, and then the grandkids go, you know, they get tied up in school and sports and all that. And then you say, wow, we have this big house and not everybody is able to make it in as much anymore. Maybe we'd like to go something smaller or less maintenance, whether that's a villa on the water or a condo, and downsize again. So there's chapters of life.
I mean, as someone who's experienced and lived this, and you know, we are about ready to take that next step, you know, and leave the condo. But I will say, as weekend warriors, I want to get down, immediately crack a beer, go uncover my boat. And if you're a homeowner, that probably isn't necessarily. I guess you could do the beer, but you know, you've got more maintenance. You're not going and having fun immediately like you can as a condo owner.
You've got plumbing stuff to worry about. Did you remember to get salt for the water softener? When's the last time I changed the air filter in the furnace? We had a storm last week, and now I've got down limbs in the driveway I need to take care of. You know, I know how much it is to take care of a primary house. So then to put another house on top of that, hours away from that, is you know, you either need to have good people, know who to contact to take care of those things, or just have that time to dedicate and know that you're going to come down and do maintenance.
Cool. All right. Anything else on condos?
Condos. Did we get into sales? This July we saw 56 lakefront condos sold. That's up almost 8% from 52 last year, while the average days on market for sold condos in July was at 66. This indicates a slowing. Okay, so this season we're witnessing 66 days on average on market for lakefront condos. This time last year they were at 43 days on market. So
we added 23 days.
Yeah, the appetite is slowing down for those condos.
Any reason why you think that is?
Inventory. There's more options. You know, with that growing inventory, it's a supply and demand. So the more supply that you have out there, the buyers don't have to make split decisions. They can sit on things. They can, you know, yesterday I was out showing condos. I showed 5 different condos. In years past, there'd be maybe 2 in that price bracket for what they wanted in that location.
Got to move quick too.
So this year things are just changing. You know, it's a pendulum. It's swung one way, and condos are swinging back the other way much quicker than what.
I think if you're a buyer and you're really serious about buying down here, don't wait for rates to drop, because what's going to happen is there's a lot of people that are just waiting for rates to drop. So then all of a sudden that could shrink up the inventory real fast. And like, as you mentioned, you can always refi. So I would encourage anybody thinking about buying, now would be a better time because it's softened a little bit based upon days on market.
Yeah, and tailing in with that, the months of supply, how much people are buying and how much is out there in inventory gives us a number of months of supply. So if we quit putting any new condos on the market right now, and there was the same amount of buying happening, right now we're at 7.2 months of current supply. This time last year we were at 3.2 months.
Wow.
Which is a drastic difference. It's just, you know, again, that market is slowing down a little bit. We like 6 months is about a neutral market. Less than 6 months, you're in a seller's market. Sellers have the leverage. Right now we're shifting into that buyer's market where buyers can negotiate more. They can ask for more on inspections. They've got more options. Also tailing into that, the average sale price for a lakefront condo in July 2024 was $362,825, which is down 8.5% from $396,000 in July 2023. And another interesting point.
That validates another reason why now is a good time to jump.
And this number has been trailing down, the list to sale price ratio. So the price where the seller sets it to the actual price where the buyer buys it and they close on it, we're at 96.4%. And this has been trailing down since April when we were at 98%.
That's still pretty high.
Yeah, but it's not above 100.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we had been seeing for the past few years.
That's insane.
So
that was probably COVID primarily driven.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'm sure in different markets in St. Louis, Kansas City, where you have a real shortage of homes, and say you have a new subdivision come to market, you probably see some of those numbers still around the 100% mark.
Yeah.
Got
it. All right, let's shift over to homes.
Before we get to that, and you guys tell us what you like. On condos, I kind of like to take the pulse of the market by how many, what's the inventory like out there right now? Because people can have a misconception. Condos, I like to break it down by 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. It's kind of our most practical ones. Homes, it's kind of a price bracket. You're definitely in there for that. So for condos, they're 2-bedroom condo units. There are 98 currently on the market, and that was yesterday morning when I took these numbers, and that was up 24% from last month.
Wow.
Last month. 3-bedroom units, 141 on the market. That was up 2% from last month. 4-bedroom units, 22. That was down 21% from last month.
Interesting.
Yeah.
3 beds are your hottest right now.
3 beds are always going to be the hottest. 2-bedroom, there's a lot on market for a 2-bedroom right now. For a seller, you got a lot of competition.
Typically a downsizer.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Now on the
Let's
homes.
dig into the homes.
All right. So this July we had 97 new homes hit the market. That's up 21.25% over last year, which had 80 new homes, lakefront homes, hit the market. Year to date, we've had 27.5% rise in inventory with 150 more lakefront home options.
From 23.
Now the cool part, in sales, this July we had 14 more homes sold compared to last July. That was a 32% increase. Year to date, we've had 2 more homes sold compared to last year, and our average days on market is down 3 days to 40 days compared to this time in market.
Wow.
So year to date, there have been 2 more lakefront homes sold. Drastic difference from condos.
Yeah.
So there's still a big appetite for lakefront
interesting perspective when you just, it's 14. Like I read that and I was like, gosh, only 14.
Yeah.
And then when you think about that, there's like probably 1,400 real estate agents.
Yes, that's a whole nother conversation for sure.
Fascinating.
Okay, so months of supply, or let's go with average sale price on this one. The average sale price of a lakefront home in July 2024 was $733,741, and that was a 6.5% increase from July 2023. year to date, lakefront homes are trading almost 13% higher than last year. Months of supply. So July 2024, we're seeing 6.2 current months of supply, while this time last year we were at 3.8. So again, we're just getting a little bit slower, but sales are still occurring.
Yeah.
Like I said, 6 months represents a neutral market to where the leverage is about even. It's not really a buyer's market, not really a seller's market. I would consider that very healthy. What we've been going through the past few years, not a good market. What we went through in 08, where it was such an extreme buyer's market, not really a healthy market. So hopefully we get to that, depending on interest rates, to where we can get back into a healthy market scenario.
The election could change that. It could, and if anything, I think it swings it to a buyer's market.
There's a little bit going on right now, and I think that we are heading towards, it's really hard to say with the interest rates though. If those interest rates go down and you have more buyers on the market.
Well, I was going to say, I guess that makes it a seller's market if there's more buyers. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, interesting times though. But going back to what we were talking about, I don't see any in lakefront homes, and really in condos. The average sale price wasn't really off that much at all. We don't see any big drastic dip coming in. We still have enough demand for it. Like I said, if you have time, if you're not in a rush, the best time to get a deal is in the off season. You just don't have that many options. The inventory is going to go down. So if you know you're in the market and something comes up that you see that you like, that you need to jump on it, and then you can refinance it later if you want. Do
sellers tend to, if it hasn't sold by Thanksgiving, do sellers have a tendency of pulling them off the market and then relisting in the spring?
That's definitely a conversation. It gets to look like something is wrong with a property, which in our brokerage we do things so that doesn't convey. We do a lot more work up front when we take a property to sale, because we don't want to have that happen. In that scenario, we want to come off and we want to do some things with the property. Maybe it's not updated enough. Maybe we need to talk about doing carpet and paint so that we can achieve those sale numbers that the seller needs. But yeah, those are all things that happen in a regular market, and all discussions that it's best to have up front before you actually go to market. In this scenario, what is your plan B? So that's where, again, talking with a professional realtor to get your best strategy on. Let's see, July lakefront home sold at an average of 95.7% list to sale.
A little bit under condos.
A little bit under condos.
Okay.
So again, more negotiating happening out there, which is a great thing. Lakefront homes for sale by price bracket.
My favorite.
So that 300 to 499, 47 homes. That's up 9% from last month.
That's good to hear, because a lot of people think that they're priced out of the lake. That's awesome.
Now probably the most active price bracket, that 500 to 749. 45 homes. That is down 29% from last month.
And there's less homes than the lower one.
750 to 999. So 750, just under a million. 49 homes. That's up 11% from last month.
All about the same. Each one. That was up.
Yes, that one was up 11%. That 750 to just under a million.
Interesting.
So a million to 5 million, 69 homes, down 9% from last month.
Wow, that's still a lot.
Damn.
That's a testament. So why do you think it is that the 500 price point to 750 was down so much?
There's just not. Let's see, the best way to say this, and I just had a home go under contract at 515, and comping that out, there's not that many options. And really, when you get into a market with not that many options, boy, if you can do some things to that home, whether repaint it, put in new flooring, to where somebody can come in and just bring their suitcase and flip-flops and a toothbrush and enjoy it, those go for a premium. In that particular house, that was 15 Shelley. We did have multiple offers on that one and did get asked for that.
Nice.
Over asked.
Nice.
And a lot of that was due to you know, the value that buyers seen in the current marketplace with their current options.
Move-in ready.
Yep, in that one, it was move-in ready and looked great. So that's a, you know, big tip for sellers out there right now. If you want to get top dollar for your property, again, speak with a professional realtor. We work with stagers to come in and really make your home shine the best. And we can get an outside opinion for what they think about, should we paint? And just have those different contacts for contractors, you know, whether
you're talking about spending $5,000 maybe to get it to really get and to get top dollar and to get it to move quick.
We work with a wide range of square footage homes.
Of course. But I mean in that price point. Yeah, obviously when you get up in the million plus, it's getting a big house there at that point. But
yeah, awesome. It's been very interesting. I mean, we still have been very, very active. So the condo and the lake market's still a good place to be in down here at Lake of the Ozarks, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. We'll have a lot of noise from what's going on in the world. You know, geopolitics. You know, our politics back here at home. Interest rates, there's a lot of noise out there. The most important thing I can say is, what is your goal for you in Lake of the Ozarks? You know, your family, you know, and just like investing in the stock market long term, you got to shut out some of that noise and know what, you know, what am I trying to achieve? I'm trying to achieve lifetime memories with my kids at their age right now that I will never be able to get back again. So the little blips that we see, you'll never remember those in 20 years when all you think about is the memories that you've created.
Yeah. All right, Jesse, we got our fourth camera change. We're gonna wrap this thing up. We're gonna head out of this cove and head back because we've got roughly 30 days of hardcore summer left. At least for those of you that don't have kids and that go off to school. What's your kind of recap of the July market data?
Well, you know, for Lakefront, we have the tale of two different markets. You've got homes that remains very strong. Average sale price is up. Sales are hanging in there right with last year. And then you have condos where condo inventory is up, you know, quite a bit. Sales are off a little bit. So, you know, the one common thing is that we are seeing that negotiations happen, whether it be homes or condos. So now's a great time to be in the market, whether you're buying or selling. Selling, we just got to be a little bit more prepared, which is a great thing. And the steps that we take to take a home to market, it's always an interesting conversation to have that with sellers out there that haven't seen our approach to it. That coupled with our exclusivity with Lake Expo, we really get a lot of exposure for our sellers. So if you're in the market, whether to buy or sell, we're always happy to start with a conversation just to learn about each other and see if we jive together with personalities. And we love, you know, getting people into their dream lakefront home. That's a very enjoyable experience. And me, I have a little bit more experience on the investor side, so I really enjoy helping people cash their equity out of their lakefront property as well.
Love that. What's the best way to connect with you guys at Lakefront?
So for me, reach out directly to my cell phone, 573-260-0868. My email is Jesse, Jesse, at lakefrontliving.com. And social media, we're on Instagram, Lakefront Living Mo, and then also Lakefront Living Missouri on Facebook. We've got a great YouTube channel that's growing and growing and growing. You see a lot of our listing videos on there if you want to get an idea for what a listing looks like with us. We do separate videos for what goes on Instagram and YouTube as well. And then, as always, if you just send a message to Jeff, he can send your info to me, and I'd be happy to just start with a conversation and go from there.
And if you want to have a little fun by checking out what one of those homes look like above the price point you even mentioned, look at last week's video, which was Annie's.
Annie's got a fantastic
$7.55 million in the Villages on acreage, just a majestic.
How much in awe were you when you walked through that one?
Such an incredible home. You've got to check out that video.
That was an amazing home.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're watching this, it is before the shootout. I will be down at all of the festivities, especially the Wednesday. We'll be at, obviously, on the Strip. Come say hi. Friday, I'll be bouncing. I'll be at the cave in the morning. I'll be at Ron's. We go to Paradise to watch the boats flying by. Sometimes we go all the way out to Big Dick's. And then, of course, Saturday, you know, maybe we'll get lucky and tie up together. I don't know. Maybe that, you never know.
We're usually busy working still on Saturdays and Sundays. We don't get to enjoy that part of it.
I'll hold down the fort for you.
I would love. We haven't. I don't think we've taken Schaefer down to the street party. He would love to see those big boats.
We need to do that.
Yeah,
we need to do that.
Yeah, he's getting to the age now where he enjoys that stuff and has fun. And then, as always, you know, we co-sponsor of the poker run on that Friday, so we'll go out. That's an amazing. We usually jump on somebody's big boat. I think we're going out with Iguana again this year. On one of their center consoles. So
sweet.
Good times had by all for sure.
Enjoy the rest of 2024 summer at the Lake of the Ozarks, and stay tuned for a hell of a lot more videos because we don't stop in the off season.
There is still lots more great boating days all the way through October. And when you get some of those nice 60-degree Christmases and you've got a tri-tune like this with an outboard,
you're good to go.
Put it down. Let's go out for a cruise.
Sold.